All right, good evening, everyone. It is Wednesday, May 8th, 2024. This is our May regular meeting. As we always do, we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. And now, please take a moment of silence as we consider those who have gone before us. Thank you very much. Okay, roll call.
Mayor Robert Allen.
I am present.
Deputy Mayor Robert Ryan.
Here.
Our Attorney Elena. Here. Trustee Alter.
Yep.
Trustee Hanselman.
Here.
And Trustee Warren. Here.
Which means we're absent Trustee Sauer and shutting this evening. Okay, all the announcements are going to be repeated as verbatim from the agenda, but I do want to just highlight them here for the record, for our recording. Just a reminder, transfer station is now in the summer hours, which means it's open both the normal Saturday 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. time, but additionally it's open on Tuesday from 8 a.m. to noon. We'll be revisiting the transfer station and our friendly visitor later. The zoning board, I'm starting to get into the habit of, if we already have the information on the next zoning meeting, to build it into our agenda. The next zoning board meeting will be on Tuesday, May 21st at 6 p.m. At the municipal building, which is the regular third Tuesday, right? It's kind of where we regularly are. There are a few items on the agenda at this point, and we've already noticed these. Reviewing sign-related variance requests, the Stewart Shop Monument sign for their potential future project at 129 Church Street, a variance request to build a house at 7 Hoosick Street, and to review 2 fence applications. Additionally, on the same evening is the planning board meeting at 7 p.m. in the same location. They have 2 public hearings regarding the site plan application of Stewart's Shops and a final site plan application of a bar and bakery at 24 Classic Street. And in terms of zoning and planning, we have full boards, which is fantastic, but we are looking for alternate members for situations where one or more people on the board are involved in the business of the board and thus would have to recuse themselves. So if you are interested, please reach out to the village office. You can reach out to Deb Alter, who does a lot of overseeing and advocating for zoning and planning and guiding us and all that such. Wonderful stuff. Street sweeping has begun. It started on Monday, May 6th. It runs for 4 weeks. The last day of street sweeping is Thursday, May 30th. We do have 2 requests. One to use the wood park, possibly the gazebo if it rains, but I don't think that's the plan right now, but it's fine either way. On June 8th for a wedding of a family member of Brie O'Neill. It would start around noon and be less than an hour. We have nothing on the calendar, so if that's all good with you guys, I'll take a motion to approve the use of Wood Park on June 8th.
Move.
Second.
Thank you, Bobby Ryan. Thank you, Deb Alter. Further discussions?
Just a question.
Sure thing.
The streets sweeping. It's like a tongue twister. Is it, are they going by wards or they're just going as they, when they see?
I do not know. I don't know the answer to that. Bobby?
They started in 4th Ward, and well, it started actually downtown, and then now it went to the wards.
Yeah, right.
And actually, the sweeper broke down day 2.
Fantastic.
It was down 6 hours. And I talked to Kenny last night, and it was there was a sensor that got dirty, so it wouldn't dump. So they lost 6 hours of sweeping time yesterday. So, but
I hope we can get that back.
I saw them out in the back today, so they were in 2nd Ward today.
Okay.
So
So people ask, you know, when are they coming to mind?
We haven't voted on the motion for the June 8th wedding at Wood Park, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Alright, carries unanimously. We have another request from Judy Vancourt to use the Little League fields on June 8th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. I think this is also similar to what was done last year, and we're good for that as far as we know. So unless you guys have any questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the use of the Little League fields on the same date, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Is there's no Little League or anything going on?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, not that I know of.
We can double check.
Okay, I just didn't know.
Yeah.
That's all.
We will double check. Well, how about we do with the motion subject to confirmation of checking
Yep.
the Little League
Sure.
schedule, okay.
I'll
So,
make that motion.
alright, Bobby,
Okay.
I'll give that one to Megan. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed or abstentions? Carries, great. Summer concert series is confirmed, there's a couple additional items than what we had put out in the newsletter previously. We got this picture from the great Kevin O'Malley. This one is not on Facebook yet, but there are a couple new dates in there. I tried to get it in the agenda and the picture file was not quite fitting properly, so I'm sorry that, oh no, this one looks like it worked properly. Yay! Okay, I had some problems with it on my own computer. But that is the schedule, it's coming up. First one is July 6th. I don't recall a schedule that packed, and that is awesome.
I don't think,
He does better and
there
better
wasn't
every
eight,
year.
there wasn't 8 shows last year.
I don't,
think there
I
was
feel
only
like
6.
it was like, yeah, and previous year was like 3 or 4.
Yeah,
This
no,
is,
he's,
this is outstanding.
yeah, and anybody, by the way, this is all done with donations, so anybody who wants to donate,
Feel free.
feel
Yeah.
free.
So,
And it's not
outstanding.
to the village, it's Kevin
The
does
Hoosick
it.
Falls.
Yeah.
On his own.
concerts,
Yep.
Yeah, so contact him.
Alright, that's all I had for announcements. I have a couple mayor updates. The big one, and this is, I think falls into one of the next missions we have. There have been a couple, low-key New York Forward kickoff meetings for just myself and the co-chair. And the co-chair, by the way, is, a guy by the name of Brian Williams, who is just an absolutely awesome guy. I got to have a lot of conversations with him. He's very workforce focused. He knows our regions well. He's worked with school, Hoosick Falls Central, and the superintendent on trying to get workforce ideas and out there. He is going to be a really, really great person to be on that board. I'm really excited for that.
Brian Williams, you said?
Brian Williams. But we have we had a couple early kickoff meetings. We had a couple of the consultants in to kind of look over some of the locations and just to get a feel for a lot of what's coming. And what I've discovered in these meetings is those consultants and the state people are actually going to be very helpful in the process of going through things. I've gotten some good information on that. One of our next big things is to make sure that we get all of this information out to the community. A lot of people have been wondering, has anything started yet? It hasn't. Any plan that was in the application that we were awarded, all of those things have to be reviewed. Just because it was in doesn't mean it's a guarantee. If you didn't get something in, you still are going to have a time period to do that. Part of these meetings is to give support from the state and from the consultants to help people work on and fine-tune and support all of these ideas and projects coming forward. It's a really, really exciting process. I'll just put a couple items out just generically now, but in the coming week or two I'm gonna have an information blitz, a couple documents, videos out, so people can just kind of watch it and get an idea. The main consultant who's going to help us is Burrow Haphold. They are an international one, but their office I think is out of New York City. They were actually involved with New York Forward Round 1, and they were the lead for Cambridge, Coxsackie, and Kinderhook. So we're getting the benefit of having them doing it the second time around, which is fantastic. They're going to have a couple subcontractors, and I got to meet a couple of those folks as well, just to help with the various facets of what's going on. But there have been a couple walking tours, nothing huge yet. They didn't want this to be like announced or anything. They just wanted to just kind of casually walk around it and get a firm idea. But they're looking to schedule. They're actually right now working to schedule the first LPC Local Planning Committee meeting. All of the local planning committee meetings, and there's probably going to be 6 or 7, are open to the public to be there to view, and maybe at the end if they want to give a couple comments they can. But built into the schedule will be 2 public hearings where we're going to want to hear from people directly on what things are going on, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of information coming. One of the consultants is going to be the one to design and put up the website and all the information. So all we're going to do in the village website is put our application documents, our award things, and point them to the website, and they'll be the ones to update that, which is fantastic. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there for New York Forward, and again, in the next couple weeks, there will be a lot of information. So if you hear people asking about it, one of the questions, the main questions are, can I get an idea in? Yes. Is the geographic location that was decided upon in the application set in stone? No, there can be slight alterations to it, but it has to be within a walkable area, and it has to be within reasons, but any idea can be looked at. And if you didn't get a project in on time, do you still have time? And the answer is yes. So there's a lot of good stuff coming. Secondly, we have a good friend, Bear, at the transfer station. He has been getting into one of the garbage dumpsters. So one of the items that we have, I don't actually have it on the agenda, but I know we have one single quote for fencing.
Yes, but I have more information today.
Great. Do you want to take that right now, or?
Yeah, sure.
All right, go for it.
Spoke to DEC. They do not come and catch the bear and take him away. They don't shoot the bear. It's up to us. But she said what really works, and other transfer stations have had this problem, have used like an electric fence, like for a farm.
Okay.
Tell I'm a city girl, right? So she said like 5 or 6 of those strings, and she gave me the voltage and everything. And I talked to Kenny about it, and he said that he had thought about that too, and that would obviously be the most effective, because after a while they'll figure it out. They have to go to somebody else's transfer station because ours is dangerous. So, yeah, the problem, and maybe you guys can help figure this out, but the problem is, as it always is getting the trucks coming in and out, because they come to pick up stuff when sometimes nobody's there.
Yeah.
And, things like that, and where it has to, has to connect to electricity and things like that, so.
Yes.
But it's much cheaper.
But actually that could be good with kind of what I was starting to think about. I would like at least the minimum, the 3 of us in county, to go down there and start to long-term plan out. I think there's more space there that we can use more efficiently, and we could actually put next to the shack that he has there, which I'm pretty confident already has electricity because it runs. Maybe that's where we put the fences and the dumpsters so that the trucks can come in back in there and have space for it, and it's right near the power that we need. So
yeah, I'm sure if we put our heads together, we can think of something.
They also have electric fences that run on battery.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So
like a car battery or something like that.
That's an option if we can't locate it on the same side as the building.
Yeah.
So we only have
And that would be I just told him about it, Kenny about it today, so I don't have numbers, but he said it would be way less expensive.
Oh, then
to what? Do electric fence?
Yeah.
What would be less expensive?
The electric fence.
As opposed to the one that they designed?
As opposed
to the one they quoted out?
Yeah.
Alright. I don't think we're gonna be able to move on a decision tonight, but I think we need to get information soon.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And maybe we can follow through on email just so we can get it done.
Absolutely.
Because Kenny's been going up there and cleaning up. So.
Well, you said we're also gonna meet later in the month anyway, right?
Yes, I wanna have a special meeting later in the month.
Yeah.
But to Dev's point, this is kind of a thing that we're gonna need soon, so we can do it over
I agree.
email.
I'm not trying to delay it, believe me. I wanna make sure we act on it, because Kenny's been sending me the videos on a like every other day basis.
Yep.
And he's going up there himself because he's sort of down a couple guys temporarily. Some on jury duty and stuff like that.
Alright, trustees, do you have any questions on announcements or mayor updates? No. Okay. Hearing none, we're gonna go to the people to be heard section. I've actually added a little bit of information just for the context of people who haven't done this before. Typically, I will ask to see how many people are here to speak and address the board, then I'll set a time limit. When called upon, please begin with your full name and street address. I've added that the board doesn't have an obligation to respond or begin a discussion, but it is left up to the board members themselves. It's a discretionary thing we can do or not do. Sometimes there's great things to hear, but it's not the right forum to fully discuss things, but that's up to the board. And just as a standard reminder, we do audio record all of our meetings, and then they eventually end up on YouTube. So, can I get an idea of how many people would like to speak tonight to the board? Address the board? 1, 2, 3, okay? Why don't you start, and I'll just kind of put a 4-minute limit. Take it away.
I should ask to be on the agenda. I wasn't quite sure if I was going to make it or not, but it's regarding the Historic Preservation Commission.
Yes.
So we formed in December, and we're now going on to our second meeting.
Sorry, name and address for the record.
Oh yes, alright. Megan Albert, T
Thank
Center
you.
Street. But there's nothing, I realize that the website is going through updates and everything, but there's absolutely nothing at all anywhere about the commission. And right now we're planning the 250th anniversary of the country, the 200th anniversary of Hoosick Falls.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if, you know, we have at least some information out there, maybe someone else in the village would want to help us. So if we could have
Do you have
some,
information
that'd
you
be
want
great.
up on the website right now?
Yeah, we have some basic things. But that, one of the things that we talked about in the meeting was that for the ordinance that we're creating, we don't exactly know what the plan moving forward is for the village. We're trying to come up with the language, so it's something that maybe you could provide something for us to go on. I didn't really see any like mission statement or anything like that on the website, and that would be really helpful for us.
Okay, so you're looking for mission statements. You said an ordinance?
Yes.
Ordinance on what specifically?
For the Historic Preservation Commission. So one of the things, like we talked about when it's formed, is doing a village-wide survey of all the historic buildings in town.
Okay.
And then from there, we would have a more comprehensive list. But
Sorry. I'm sorry, Megan.
But yeah, so from there, we'd have a more comprehensive list that would help us in terms of addressing the historic district. And also, when it comes to writing grants for the buildings.
Okay.
And so we need an ordinance.
Okay.
We were looking over some of the elements of it. I mean, we're not even remotely close to having it done or anything, but I just figured I would ask the board for that.
What's the process for getting this ordinance together? Like, do you recommend it and then bring it to the, like, Elena?
Yes. Great.
Okay. You put it together, bring it to us,
Yep.
we review it and officially approve it?
Adopt it.
Great.
Do we adopt it? Is that how it will be, Elaine?
Is that how it works?
The board would adopt it?
I'm not really following exactly what is being requested, because an ordinance to me is a local law.
Yeah, I'm confused
So-
about the ordinance as well. Like, what's the goal of, or what does this ordinance do?
Well, that's the whole reason why we formed as a commission. We ultimately want to preserve the history of the town, so that's what we're writing right now.
So the ordinance has to do with preserving some of the older buildings and what people can and cannot do to them.
Exactly.
Okay, so what we need to do, it seems like,
Oh,
is one of us,
They
okay.
wanna recommend a local law to the village.
Right.
so you're gonna
An
write the
ordinance.
law and send it to, oh,
Yep.
fabulous.
Okay.
So
We're working
once
on it.
it's
Okay,
recommended,
yeah,
this board
We
will
know.
review it, if it's okay as written, we call for public hearing and do the typical
Okay.
process.
Okay, now
Okay.
I'm trying to, that's all I wanted to have.
Yep.
people don't usually come in here saying, we wanna write a law for you, and all you have to do is have a vote.
Yeah.
You know,
Fair enough.
So,
easier than usual.
couple things. Do you have Olivia's email for clerk?
Yes.
Okay. Email her and myself for anything you want up on the website. I have to do, I just got some, village board updates on, but I wanna archive documents for the planning and zoning, that's my next thing. Part of that is also adding another 2 pages, and I have to go through every page and add it in if it's a pain, it's dumb, but, that's the perfect time to create another page that was accessible on all the pages. So it would be very simple to make a historic commission page
Okay.
in a similar format.
Great.
Awesome. That's great, yeah, and
And then in terms of the, like if there's a mission statement or any type of thing that the board may want to add to the ordinance while we're writing it, that would be really helpful.
okay.
That way we're, you know, steered in the right direction.
Yeah, I would, so we have a local law committee who kind of oversees things, helps things, works with Elena. Deb, you're on the local law committee, right?
Yes,
And you are too, Megan? And is it Dan is the third?
Yep.
Any of those 3 or all 3 of them, just shoot them an email and keep that conversation moving.
Okay.
Yeah,
yep,
that's great.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Anything
Thank
else,
you.
Megan?
That's it.
Alright, thank you. Number 2?
Me?
Yes.
Kathy Zeiss, 6 Saratoga Street.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi. I'm not sure who in names and faces. I spoke with Dan,
Who's,
Jim,
yes.
and Kenny.
Dan is a trustee who's not here this evening.
Not here, right?
Jim is our water operator who's not here, and Kenny is, I think, on like vacation or something, so he's also not here, so.
So.
I'm sorry they're all not here, but I know at least Dan has been talking to us about things, so, but,
Okay,
yeah, please.
Dan Jim and Kenny have been to my house and able to see my existing sewer lines,
Mm-hmm.
which only my upstairs bathroom goes to village sewer. My first floor appliances and everything else do not go to village sewer.
Where do they go to?
Yeah, where do they go?
Well, All Out Waste, Kenny referred me to All Out Waste, they came in, they ran a camera through the line, and he says it's a cesspool under the garage.
Oh. Wow. When is this the
6 Saratoga, right?
Yep.
that's in terms of village construction, that's like the last development that came in, right?
No, that's actually,
Nineteen
no.
oh five the house was
No,
built.
Jeff.
Oh, really?
No,
Oh.
it's the other
It's-
end.
it's
the
further
very-
up.
It's one of the very first houses on,
Yeah.
It's a,
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
the other end.
Oh, this is complicated.
So,
Okay.
aside from dealing with my crazy water amount issues, I'm paying full sewer based on my water, and my sewer is not going into the sewer. So,
Oof.
I have been talking with Dan, about the potential of having the sewer rate being prorated.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he said there's only, or somebody told me, don't quote me, one of the gentlemen I spoke with said that there are only 2 other homes in the village that are not village sewer. But it seems nobody's seen that there are little of this and a little of that.
Well, that is a unique situation.
I know you can't measure the output, but the only thing, it's the upstairs bathroom that's only used by myself at night and for a shower.
So, boy. Policy reasoning is the village, and this is built into our procedures and our local laws for water and sewer. We have a meter that measures water that gets applied to sewer usage with the assumption that it's all working together.
Correct.
I think we also have legal requirements that you have to use village sewer, but I
You
don't.
do.
Yeah,
We
that's
do.
what I thought. But
And I only bought the house on the precedence that there was village sewer, because
Right.
I had come from a home that had a
Septic.
septic tank.
yeah.
And when I was sold the house, Kenny said he had met with Mark from Octagon Realty and explained that to him.
Mm-hmm.
And the documentation that I received buying the house, even though I questioned it, was stated that it's village sewer.
Yeah.
And when I called the village said, no, you're on village sewer, so
Right.
then I had a backup
Right.
issue, and
Wow.
Kenny came out, he goes, oh, this is the house.
Oh wow.
And he said, I remember talking to Mark, cause Mark had him come out prior to selling the house to me,
Mm-hmm.
and telling him that the house is not all on public sewer. I've spoken to multiple attorneys, no attorney will touch it because New York State's a buyer beware kind of thing.
Wow. So you are coming to us to find out if it's possible to adjust and prorate the sewer usage.
Correct.
Okay. I'm glad to have this information. I'm not gonna have an answer tonight,
I understand that.
but I'm glad that you came and explained the situation. We're gonna have to review all of our laws on the books, policies, that
Right.
sort of thing. Boy, that's quite a situation.
Historically,
I'm
we
sorry
don't-
about that.
Yeah, I'm not thrilled about that, let me tell ya.
I'm even more sorry that it doesn't sound like you have a legal claim against someone who I feel like you should, but
Right.
all
I
right.
was advised to take Mark and the family to small claims court. To then try and have the lines rerouted.
Right, but again, that would be out of our purview of,
Right.
cause that's a private matter. Ooh, okay. We'll get back to you if you haven't heard in a week or two. Check in with the village office. I'm assuming that if there was a way to do this and the board was okay with it, it would require board approval at a open meeting
Correct.
anyway.
Yeah.
In the off chance that it's a really, really odd, wacky thing, there may need to be like an agreement that was put together, but this is very weird and I don't really kinda wanna estimate any other things at this point without having a full understanding of the law, so.
And then my other component of that is, with that in mind, can it be effective either backdated or prorated as of today, being it brought to you?
What was the, we can certainly look into that. When did you purchase?
So this April 15th, I believe it was April 15th or 19th, somewhere around there, mid-April would have been my 3-year.
Okay, so 22. No, 21, cause I have math skills.
And under the, until I had a backup issue, I was under the impression, and they filled out the paperwork, even the family filled out the paperwork saying that it was village sewer.
Okay.
And they probably didn't know any different.
Wait, is this not,
Anybody who's seen the house should know that if they owned the house for the time frame that they did, they should have known.
They should have, okay, well.
but wait a minute, when they, you know that form, well, if you've ever sold a house, you have to fill out a form that says, if you know about,
The
Yeah.
Disclosure Act?
Yeah.
yeah, that thing.
Yep.
And then check off that they knew it was village sewer?
Yep.
They should have put it doesn't know, they didn't know.
I know.
Well, if they lied, there's no recourse if they lied?
Nope.
Why was I worried so much about whether I gave the right answer or not? I was trying to be out there
I
crazy
cannot
trying to be
find an
honest.
attorney that'll touch it.
Alright.
Holy moly, I'm sorry.
We will be getting back to you, Kathy, if you haven't heard from us in a couple weeks. Check in with village office. You can also email myself and Bobby as deputy manager, say, hey, is anything going on with that? Our emails are up on the website.
Okay, yeah, and Dan said.
I know you've been
follow up.
And Dan as well,
Dan's
obviously.
let us know.
Include Dan,
Thank
yeah.
you, I appreciate
Yes.
that.
Alright, thank you. Third, Jason.
Sure, Jason Vonganis, 9 High Street, here tonight from the zoning board. I've been on the zoning board probably 3 or 4 years, and the majority of everything we have come in is always for a 6-foot fence. It's an anomaly that it's not a 6-foot fence.
I'm working on it already.
Well, I don't know if we need to change the law. I just know that we internally, through the zoning board, cannot. We have to bring it to the trustees. So that's why I'm here. I'm hoping, I can continually bring you guys some zoning stuff and be like, hey, we have this one done. Let's maybe address this one
That's
now.
great.
Do this is what we want.
Yeah, so the 6-foot fence, my idea would be that to keep it illegal and still need a variance, however, now that the neighbors are being notified every time that there's a legal building permit, i.e. like it gets kicked back because it's a non-conforming use, the neighbors have to get notified. In that notification, I think maybe we could change the verbiage that if you do have a problem with this, we will have a meeting, so that if there are no problems, it can just slide right through. And then there should be also another instance in which it would get kicked to a meeting, and that would be for the acting building inspector, who has to probably go out and look at all of these anyways. So, if there's some anomaly, which makes it like a special situation, that a meeting would make sense, then the building inspector at their discretion can also call for a meeting. Otherwise, if there's no complaint from neighboring property owners or the acting building inspector, it should pretty much just be fine. And I think that would save a lot of meetings, a lot of resources. There's a lot of times we just need to say yes to a 6-foot fence. We just don't have to.
I was just thinking that I've started writing a local law about just making it 6 feet. Make the law 6 feet.
Your state is 6 feet. Yeah. There's probably situations though where you want to be able to enforce that though. So you probably want to keep it at 6 foot.
Or we could write the law so that
Right.
those distinctions are in the law.
I don't know the actual verbiage, but just, in that vein of kind of taking care of that situation.
Alright. Any recommendations like this, we're all ears, make sure to email Deb and
Yeah.
email Mark,
We'll do
and
them
then
one at a
you
time.
guys can confer with Elena as you need to. Do you have a,
Well, I just think in the situation, Jason's definitely on the right path, where the building inspector works on it, can even make a decision, and then the whole idea of the zoning board is you appeal to the zoning board.
right,
If you don't like the building inspector's decision, you can appeal to the zoning board.
Yeah.
yeah,
You just don't want to let them.
Well, that's
do it
technically
first.
what's happening, because what you're doing is, you have to say no, cause that's the law, then they go to the zoning
Well,
board.
for now, but if it were to be at 6 foot.
Right,
okay, so basically you're saying you'd like the board to consider making 6-foot fences legal in certain situations?
Whatever you guys think. I'll just bring an idea. Try
Okay.
to, create like easy.
Something like that?
probably just been written in the local law.
Yeah, so it'd go into the zoning code, that's where it is currently, and that's where you see it, but from my perspective and seeing what other municipalities do, usually it's not like an outright ban on 6-foot fences, usually depending on the zoning district, there are certain restrictions. I know I've seen it like where you can't have 6-foot fences in the front yard, but you can have it in the side and backyard in residential districts. You can even have higher in commercial districts. So that's, I think, what the board should probably look at, and then that would reduce the number of variances and only have variance requests in unique situations, or
Right.
situations where they wanna have it in an unorthodox place.
Right now, they're not permitted in the front yard anyway. An accessory use is not supposed to be in the front yard.
Right, but I'm saying like, keep it so that it's not allowed in the front yard, but allow it in the backyard, something like that is what I'm
And also
suggesting.
possibly adjust for commercial settings as well.
Correct.
Okay,
Right, it'd be based on zoning, it could be different based on a different zoning district.
yes. Okay, and that would be through local law to modify the zoning code, correct?
Yes, and when you do the modification to the zoning code, it requires
Public
a
hearing?
public hearing, seeker, and county referral.
Oh,
Zoning's very,
yes.
when you do a zoning, that's why if we're gonna do a zoning amendment, if there's multiple amendments, it's good to do it all at one time so that you don't have to go through that lengthy process. Multiple
Did you hear that, Jason?
Kinda.
Can you
Um,
repeat the process, Elaine? Yeah.
So when you amend the code anytime, you introduce the local law and then there's a public hearing. With zoning code specifically, there's the added steps of a county referral and seeker.
When we State Environmental Quality
Quality Review
Review
Act.
Act.
Yes.
When we modified it the 2 times we've modified the zoning code, it was specific to adjusting commercial for Lovejoy and then for the new Stewart's one, and in both those settings we had to do I think we did an egg deck for seeker,
Yes.
and then we had to send it to the county, get a document from the county, and say, yeah, this is fine. So we have done that before, it's not
Right.
common, but we've done it before, so. But if you have other ideas on things that you guys are interested in,
We do, that's just the easiest one, so.
that's great.
Also, there's a zoning and planning education tomorrow night, if anybody's interested, you should go. Monica's super cool.
Awesome that that's happening, thank you. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Olivia, we have all the planning board members going and some of the zoning going to that? Tomorrow
Everybody's
evening?
going from both boards except for one person.
Yes, that's awesome. I'm gonna try to be there as well if I can get back from my performance in time.
Where is it?
Yep, yep. Awesome. Alright, anything else, Jason? Alright, anyone else? Okay, thank you guys. On we go. Thank you. We're gonna go to our reports, police report. Sergeant Hudson.
Keep mine shorter than Mark's.
Mark has you on the clock, let's get moving.
Total calls were 336, so that's up from last month. Total arrests was 17, which is definitely up from last month. Things were a little lower because we were busier on other things, so. Otherwise, the call breakdowns there, Officer Davick did that. We're trying to figure out how we're gonna get the call breakdown the end of the year, because Officer Davick is retiring from dispatch.
It's unacceptable.
And what I told him.
Good for him.
But if you look, there was only one call that we did not cover that was covered by the sheriff's office.
Yeah, that was something I also wanted to notice. We normally have about, on average this year, 8 to 9 calls that, for whatever reason, were not scheduled or not covered. This month was 1. That is awesome. That is awesome. Sorry, John, keep going.
Otherwise,
Let's
nothing
go.
really special. Policies we're 3/4 of the way through it, and we are going to start accreditation shortly.
Yep. One additional item I saw you guys noted were 18 calls not answered in the town. That was a nice, just kind of thing to also include, so I appreciate that. And just as a reminder, village police technically don't have jurisdiction in the town, but we do respond to town calls if we are directed to by dispatch, and if other agencies are full or not available, booked or not available. So that's why we keep track of that. Any other questions from the board?
How are the recruits doing, John?
Good. Very
Everybody's doing good in school.
Academy said they're doing good, so.
And when do they get out and come to work?
July, they'll be on field training.
That's a long haul.
6 months.
I didn't realize it was that
August
long.
is graduation.
Cool.
And once they graduate, they have everything and they are fully certified.
Yes.
I mean, there's still training things that they would do with
They'll
us.
still be in-house.
Right.
They're academy field training may be over, but they're still doing things a little different, where they have in-house field training still.
Good, good, that's great,
I see they're giving hours as well.
Yep.
So,
that's great. Unless, you guys have other questions, I'm looking for a motion to approve. Deb, need a second?
second?
Bobby, further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Carries. Mark, John has set us up here. I don't know why I'm missing a number there, my apologies on that, required annual inspections, I don't know why I didn't put that number in, so.
What's this, for which one?
Required annual inspections,
Yeah, it was 0.
it was, alright, great, that's why there's no number, it's just really thinking, alright. Anything you wanna highlight?
No, any questions, it's just been, it continues to be busy.
Mm-hmm.
Has the pile on your desk gotten lower or smaller, Mark?
I'd like to think so, but I don't know.
On 59 Classic Street, it says the inspection is complete, that means it's all done, it's good?
That's
Working
for
on
us.
building
For
issues.
ours?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, they had a couple little things to do, but it's watertight now, I believe, and we had court yesterday, but he didn't come, so he's gonna get a special invite to come.
Same guy, again?
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't come, so.
Alright. I meant to ask you about all those failure to appears. I'll come back to that. Alright, anything else for Mark?
So, I will point out 33rd Street is cleaned up, that's been a long,
Oh wow, that's great.
That's
and
excellent.
6th Street, we are going to the court process and they are working on it.
As far as 33rd Street, Mark, yes, I know it's cleaned up. What are we gonna do about the actually structure?
That's a great question.
It's really not inhabitable.
Yeah,
With the trailer?
we
Yeah.
can start the process that we've done, other buildings, but we
Yep.
become responsible to take it down and then try to get it reimbursed.
The process for you guys who weren't here during this is we have a local law that allows us to pursue and require the demolition of unsafe structures. The first step is to bring in an engineer to assess the situation. Is that what your recommendation is right now on that one?
It's a mobile home,
Doesn't look too
you
mobile now.
You can
It's
see
an
light from one
old-
side to the other.
It's an old mobile home.
Okay.
I believe it was done as a special favor for maybe the town.
He was a town highway employee.
Yeah, because he had a fire or something, so they allowed it to happen, normally single wide.
Is this the kind of situation that the same engineer we use, it would make sense to go with him? Like, would he be able to structurally assess a
He
mobile
can
home?
Come in and look at it, sure, you know,
Okay.
we should be able to get access.
I definitely think I would like to recommend that, because it's just an eyesore in the neighborhood, and I mean, the people suffered long enough with them living there,
Yep.
and then to leave all their garbage and everything there, and now it's uninhabitable.
this
Wouldn't you
is,
say, Mark? I mean, it's not
33rd
really.
Street?
It's not habitable right now, I don't know if it could be fixed up. or
Mark,
not.
what's the number?
30.
Why don't I have it up here?
Mark, you also, now you've sent them a letter, it was on the
That's why I was
list.
confused,
of
me
things,
too, it was on the list.
that
I don't
you
think
would,
it's on the list.
Hmm?
I don't see it on the list
No,
right
no,
now.
not that list, you sent us a list, we went over it last time,
30.
No, but it should be on there.
no, I think
Motion
it's on there,
to-
and you sent them
Get quotes?
a vacant letter that said they
Get
have
quotes
to
for an
put their
engineer?
deposit
The
down.
last time they were like
Oh,
under
vacant
1,000,
home.
that's just
Yeah.
a couple hours for
They
it.
got one
So
of
we're
those
just
now.
looking for an engineer.
I think you sent them one.
Do you
I may have sent.
Yes.
I think you did.
Okay, that's a professional service, so I need to.
So we can just make
I'd have to go
the
back and look.
motion to approve.
Case got dismissed
Code
from court
pursuing,
on
yeah.
that
Okay.
particular one because I screwed up the information. So, but we can still, I can still work through that process with them as far as.
Okay,
In speaking with Elena, it's a professional service to bring in an engineer, so all we need, and it's well under the threshold that would require quotes, so all we need is a motion from the board to authorize code enforcement to pursue an engineering assessment for safety of the location at 33rd
Are
Street.
you okay with that, Mark?
Do you get all that, Olivia? Awesome.
Okay, I will make that.
Bobby
motion.
will make that motion, need a second. Brett, thank you. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed or abstentions? It's unanimous, carries.
Olivia Mayor will send me a memo on that.
Okay.
Cause I'm not gonna remember.
I'm gonna
Awesome.
get back.
Well, Mark's going on vacation, so he won't remember until he gets back.
That's true. So I had a question for John, but it may apply to you, so it counts against both of your times. The failure to appear, there were a lot of arrests for failure to appear. Were those code specific or other specific?
Not a single code one.
Not a single code one. Alright, you get docked the time. You're free. Okay, thanks. Just kidding. Alright, any other questions for Mark?
I'm just curious with Manton Street, it says multiple issues resulting from fire calls. What?
Yeah,
what are
I know
those?
that.
That,
You know?
Mark will tell you about
I'm
that.
just curious.
So, yeah, Manton Street, the fire called, fire department had a report of sparks coming from a outlet in the bathroom.
Yep.
And flames coming up out of a drain pipe in the bathroom.
yikes.
Couldn't figure out what it was. There was no fire that, anybody saw. In the end, we ended up pulling the meter because we couldn't determine what it was, and there were 11 people in the house that night.
Wow.
10 of them were homeless people
Oh.
who were trying to tell us they were just visiting, which wasn't the case. And the inside was horrible. We did let them stay, and there was a camper outside that was clean because there was kids involved. There was like 5 kids involved. And everybody worked well together between the fire department, police department, and we were able to kind of put them in the camper. Red Cross was supposed to come, they didn't. But they had a place to go to 2 days later, which was Wednesday. This all happened Monday, and on the Wednesday they were gone. So.
I will say with this situation and one other, I quietly hear about a couple folks in the community with the assistance of a couple churches doing some amazing work helping people in these situations. So I'm not gonna put that information out there on who and what unless they want me to, but I just wanna give them the silent shout out and thanks for doing that. Awesome. Any other questions for Mark? Looking for a motion to approve the code enforcement report? Deb? Second Megan, further discussion? All in favor? Aye, opposed or abstentions? Carries. Thank you, Mark.
Alright, you guys are good.
Mark, have a great vacation.
Thanks, Mark.
See you guys.
Alright, so, treasurer report, anything you guys wanna highlight? There's a couple things I wanna highlight, a lot of stuff in here. The past couple days have been focused on getting the re-levy set and ready to go, did that happen?
Yeah,
Alright.
tomorrow should be done.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, marathon. Obviously a ton of work with the budget. There was something I wanted to focus on, I can't remember what it was, shoot. It'll come to me later. Anyway, Denise is amazing, you guys are amazing, let me see if it's on the next page. Alright, that's all I remember. Unless you guys have any questions on it, I'll take a motion to approve the treasure report. Thank you, Deb, thank you, Megan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed or abstentions? Carries, great. Clerk, deputy clerk report. Anything you wanna highlight?
Not really, just busy. Other than that, no.
Alright, you guys are doing great, by the way. Looking for a motion to approve clerk, deputy clerk report. Brett, thank you. Second, the train and Bobby. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is late today. Oppose or abstentions? Alright, carries. Highway report, Bobby, anything you wanna highlight?
No, let's see, I did notice some people, the only one did say that about, with this sweeper going, I noticed people have been putting piles of leaves and sticks out there. That's not what we want on the side of the road for, to be picked up by the sweeper.
Oh no, that's, are they thinking that we're gonna do like another
I don't know, I
pickup?
noticed a house on Parsons Avenue that has, the front yard full of sticks piled up and like 10 of the garden or the lawn bags. Full of leaves. So I just saw it today when I was
Okay.
coming home
Maybe
from
we
work.
could put out an announcement on Facebook or something.
We could do that.
Well, I'll
We could
talk
do
to
that.
Kenny about, see if they can pick that up, because it's just,
Yes,
That's the only one yet.
that's the only one I've seen, so.
yes.
Well, we could leave them a note to go to the transfer. Quick, before the rates go up.
But no, yes, I do wanna talk about the Kenny is going to be, right now he has one person who's, on jury duty. So he's short a body, but he is, calls in, whatever.
And he has a second body in street sweeping,
Yes.
cause we're renting now.
But actually, that person was one and the same today. Bruce apparently did have jury duty, so I saw him in the sweeper.
Oh, nice.
But anyways, the banners, the brackets for the veterans banners that we're working with the town and with the American Legion with have arrived. Kenny has the brackets, as you know.
Yep.
And we met last night. The banners are hopefully going to be here by the 15th. They were promised to be on our dock by the 15th.
Okay.
So it's 170, there's 170 banners.
Wow.
So Kenny is gonna do his darndest with the one bucket truck, and I wanna make sure that everybody, Shane Hathaway from Hathaway's Electric, I reached out to him last night, and he's offered his bucket truck as well for,
That's awesome.
and so that as long as one of the village employees who are, cause he's already a contractor for the village,
Yeah.
so one of the village employees can operate his bucket truck.
Okay. I don't know what the process is. I would assume a lot of the process is attaching it to the pole. But if there's any long, monotonous preliminary work to get things ready, I bet you it would be very easy to get a couple students from school who want to do community service.
Unfortunately, it's one thing.
There's
There
not.
isn't anything right now.
Okay.
We're just waiting. We're at the mercy of the actual banners getting here.
Okay.
And then Kenny explained it last night. They can do like 70 in like 2 hours.
Really?
So that's putting them up with brackets already being up.
Right.
So now
Okay.
they gotta put up 170, and National Grid has of course muddied the waters
No way.
with Church Street and Main Street because they're replacing poles. So there's 2 poles in every location going up
I've seen
Main and up
that.
Church Street, and National Grid is done with the poles. Kenny talked to
They're
me.
not taking the old ones down?
No, they're not. They're done with the poles, but Verizon and the cable company have the rest of their hardware
In
on.
my backyard too.
Yeah, on the poles.
Mine too, actually.
So until all those poles, all that hardware is gone, the old poles won't be removed. That's Verizon's responsibility to remove the
Yes,
poles.
that's what they told us when we called them about our backyard.
But the problem is, that eliminates quite a few poles that we can't use in the downtown area,
yeah.
but we wanted to use primarily for the, cause,
Or if we use them, we're gonna have to take them down later.
well, right, and I don't trust
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Verizon to let us know they're taking them down
Yeah.
without taking our hardware off.
Do you guys have a plan for where all the banners are going? Is there a plan? Are they working on it?
There's a plan.
Okay.
The Legion is responsible for.
Did it include the Hoosick history banners that are already set?
That was brought up last night.
Awesome.
Kenny made that clear that they
Good.
had to go up, and the only question is, he was gonna contact Joyce today
To see if,
to see if we could possibly delay the Hoosick banners going up until after we got all the other banners up, then figure out where we could put them.
okay,
So Kenny was coordinating that with Joyce today.
okay, great. Great.
So that's huge. If everything goes well, they'll be up by Memorial Day, and we're gonna do our darndest to try to make sure that it happens, so.
Alright, thank you
Are
to
they
Shane.
gonna stay up just a part of the year?
They're gonna stay up, they're going up from Memorial Day, and they come down on Veterans Day, so they don't weather in the winter time, so
Okay.
they're up for 2 years.
Judy, you had a,
Yes, Bob, are they just going on church in May?
No, Judy, there's 170 banners, so
everywhere.
ultimately, the best would be they'd be on each one would be on a pole. We may have 2 on some poles,
Okay.
but they're going to be, from River Street, from the River Street Bridge to High Street,
Oh, wow.
and all the way into up Church Street,
Mm-hmm.
there's 131 poles. So we also talked last night about going over the Mechanic Street with the shop bridge, over Mechanic Street and River Road as well, because that's a very high traffic area.
High Street, Route 22?
Route 22 is that's all the way to Danforth Street, we
Okay.
included that.
Okay,
And
great.
if we have to go outside the village, we will. Our goal is to keep everything in the village.
Alright,
So
That's
again, the
fantastic.
Legion's gonna have the final say.
that's
And they're also,
fantastic.
just so everybody knows, they're going in, they'll be segregated by era. Vietnam, World War One, World War Two,
Oh.
Korean War, World War, and then the Vietnam War, Gulf War. So that's what people say, well, where's my relative? He's
Over
gonna,
there.
whatever, depends what era he served in, he'll be located in that area.
And then if people get added later, then it's just in a
That's
different
right.
area. Okay, that's fantastic.
There's already more
They're gonna have
people.
like a map of where everybody's is? The
No,
lead, I mean.
no.
No? You just
They,
go look?
they may, after it's done,
After
they
the
may,
fact.
but
I don't
right
think that would be
now,
a
no.
hard thing to figure
It
out if
won't.
somebody.
It
Yeah.
won't.
And, the other, what was I gonna ask? Oh, on John Street, and I don't know where, I can't remember where else, we usually put up, flags, well, our Halloween flags are,
Yeah, Kenny's aware of all, he's
Okay.
gonna make sure that, he talked about alternating poles if we have to, we're gonna keep,
he's so good,
he's gonna keep everybody happy.
Yep.
he's so good.
So,
Alright,
funding.
anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Good for motion to approve the highway report? Deb? Megan, thank you. Further discussion? Hearing none? All in favor? Aye. Opposed or abstentions? We'll make sure to tell Kenny that he wasn't here, but his report took the longest.
He doesn't,
Sewer report.
That's really good news.
The only thing I wanna point out, besides that they're doing what they're doing, oh good, they're shopping around for the mower that we approved last fall. The revenue that came in this quarter was huge, and we are almost all but guaranteed to hit our second highest number in 5 years in terms of people dropping off sludge and getting treated.
if there was a cart meal emoji, you probably would've.
I
seen it.
would have, oh absolutely, absolutely. So that was very, very good to see. And I don't think we would talk about the possibility of raising a couple cents, but we decided not
Decided
to.
Yeah, it was what, 50
We
cents?
don't need to, yeah, that's fine. So good stuff.
Right, cause we couldn't believe how well it cost.
Yeah.
Looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion. to
Thank you,
accept
Bobby.
the report.
Thank you, Deb, second. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Carries. Water report. These numbers are still from last year. I didn't have a second to ask the office and the water folks if there was an April for 2024 yet, but we'll start keeping track of that next budget when they start to have extra water sales that come in. Yeah, that's all I have here. There's still some discussions going on about the future approach to the balance tank. Dave Engel may be in touch with us over email or in an executive session to give us an update on that. I think that's it right now.
We finally got one quote for the dehumidification.
I have that just so people can see that.
It was nice because it kind of gives an idea of like what we're looking at as
How-
far as
how
price.
bad?
So this is
I thought it was
the
like it'd be
quote
like
from
100.
Christopher Brothers for, and this is not GAC related, this is just the normal water area. The design previously did not have a proper dehumidification system, we've been paying for it. So they're looking at a pretty big dehumidifier, and their estimate for the project is $72,500. Which I feel like is in the ballpark of the one that the companies ended up having to put in the GAC room because
Yeah.
they also had a dehumidification problem there. So
I
that's,
thought it was gonna be higher actually.
let's keep getting quotes. That's good.
Yeah.
We need them.
So actually with that amount, you probably have to go out to bid ultimately.
For that much money, right?
Hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Is there a state rule on that, or is that specific to the municipality's procurement policy?
So the municipality can have a more strict procurement policy,
Right,
but
but
it
can't
can't be any more lenient, and I believe it's 25 to 35,
Okay.
somewhere like that for
Okay.
state.
That's one of the things we're still trying to get together for the organization meeting, which is what I
So I
hope is our
think too.
special meeting.
Yeah.
So we'll have to just double check those numbers and make sure we're aligned with the state.
So if that be
But
the case.
either way, even if you went to the 35, this is well over that, so
Right,
it would
so
definitely
we
be
have
a,
to publish,
bidding
publish a
situation.
bid in the paper and accept bids.
It's
Right.
just tricky because like all the specs.
There may be.
Well, it's not tricky though, if they,
No.
if they're familiar with if they
Then
know what
they'll
they're
know.
doing.
no,
they'll-
but if you do the bidding, or depending on
may
the bid
be a
documents, you can
mini bid
invite them
out
to
there.
come to the facility
Right.
and
So
look at it in order to.
that makes sense. Yeah.
bid.
Yeah. What was that, John?
So there may be a mini bid out there for it,
You could do that too
So,
if it's on state
if
contractors.
somebody's husband's willing to help her, he should probably look into that.
A mini bid?
A mini
What's a
bid?
I don't
mini
know what
bid?
that
I don't know
is.
what that is either.
That Justin will know, if you say, hey, I'm looking for a mini bid on this, he might be able to find it in the system that
Okay.
they use.
There's a mini bid system for municipalities and state agencies. I've seen it done for like police vehicles, I know we've done that in Escuna as a mini bid, and sometimes there's also state contracts,
Okay.
and if you can get something on a mini bid or a state contract, then you don't have to do the full bid specs.
Somebody might have already done the legwork for you, and you just
Right.
put it on there,
Put the specs out there.
Right.
it's already done.
We're also part of a county larger system for that as well. Do you remember that, Judy, from a few years back? We hopped in with the county on a shared services for getting quotes for items.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's
Vaguely.
helpful.
I'll have to look into that as well, but I think there's a county set up as well. They organized a couple years back to save costs. Alright, that's all good. Can you
Yep.
make sure we keep up on that?
Sure.
Awesome. Alright, thank you all.
So just based on that, so we shouldn't be reaching out to other suppliers?
We can keep
Yeah, well,
reaching
that's
out,
what we're-
but
Can we, or I'm
Yeah,
just
that's
saying?
what we've been doing. So we had like the engineer, Chris Foley Brothers gave us that quote. We're
Yep.
taking the engineer's information and kind of feeling out. I know it was dry air, and desert air was the other company that I reached out to that we're gonna talk about prices. So it's just getting that information to them.
maybe one of the quotes will magically be below $25,000. I don't expect
I
it.
don't think so.
The number like 57,000, wasn't that initially, that was like a couple,
Years
A
ago.
year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Anything else water related?
Before everything doubles.
Hearing none, looking for a motion to approve the water report.
motion?
Thank you, Bobby.
Second.
Thank you, Deb. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Carries. Alright, we only have one set of minutes available. This is for the April 24th special meeting. I put in the notes that the minutes for April 10th are incomplete because our office staff wasn't available and I was the poor schlop who had to finish the minutes and I have not yet, so my apologies. And Denise is almost done with the April 29th special meeting minutes. That was our second special meeting for the budget where we approved the budget. Obviously she's had some other things on the radar that are due immediately, so apologies for this. As soon as we have them, they will be posted. I did have one thing I wanted to add to the April 24th minutes. And you can maybe just write this down. One thing I wanted to make sure of, besides the fact that we spelled Daily wrong, D-A-I-L-E-Y, or the way I said it was Ken Facine last time, but anyway. I did want to make sure on the record that I am, as a school employee, I am recusing myself from that discussion. I can represent the village discussing website specific items, because I do the website, but when it comes to the actual decision making and discussion, I am completely recusing myself because I am an employee of the school. And the discussion has been around a shared service with the, town, village, and school. So I just want to add that to the record, just so it's in the minutes, because we talked about it. Did you have any other edits to the minutes?
No.
Alright, so hearing none, I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes with the one addition.
Motion.
Thank you, Megan. Second, Brett. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Carries. Great, thank you. Thank you, Olivia. Alright, our next item, trustee committee reports. Trustee Alter.
Okay, I got a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna save the transfer station, the actual prices and all that we talked about. I'm gonna save that for next time, because I think Dan and Doug would wanna hear that.
Yes, I would agree.
And, cause there's a lot of moving parts and complications, so. Not to put things off again, but.
Better to do it right and do it wrong. Make more work
Like
for
I said,
yourselves.
we're making progress, getting planning and zoning where they should be. They've had a meeting, they've had,
Couple meetings.
we're going to training, blah, 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 so that's all going well. We got an email from the neighbor of the new stewards, and so I responded to her and we had a little meeting, she just
Thank
wanted
you.
to discuss her concerns, and she said her property, she showed me the appraisal, thank you, that she had done, and they didn't in fact say it would reduce the value of her property by 30%.
It did or did not?
It would.
It would, okay.
That's a lot. I think some pressure from us, from planning, zoning, Stewart's is just, they really have a good reputation for working with the community. So I think, you know, if we don't ask for things or say that we have concerns, they won't deal with them because they won't know about them. But if we do, they may, I don't wanna go into a big fight with them, but I think that they might be willing to listen.
If I can interrupt for a minute and ask Elena, what is is there a certain level of appropriateness for a zoning board, a planning board, or a trustee, village board advocating on behalf of residents' concern of something like concern about depreciation of value?
I mean, from a standpoint of right now, it's been approved, the zone change has been approved.
Yes.
So what they're asking for is not a use variance at this point in time, it's, you know, it's a site plan application. So at the planning board level, some of the things that had been discussed was, you know, he had gone over kind of an informal planting plan, not on paper, that he had discussed with her and some other concerns. And I had recommended that that be added to the site plan, even though it's not part of the site, it's going on hers.
Property.
But my recommendation was to make it part of that, otherwise the condition is going to be something along the lines of, you know, as approved by the building inspector, or as the satisfaction of the building inspector, and then it's more open and stewards may be going into this not knowing what's actually going to be ultimately approved. So I had made the recommendations that as far as anything like any mitigation that would be agreed upon between the homeowner and stewards, that be more formalized and submitted and made a condition of any planning approval, site plan approval.
Okay.
But, I mean, there's always, I mean, it's each board's job to listen to the neighboring residents and to the extent allowable by law to help alleviate any impacts, negative impacts to the neighboring residents.
So as just an idea, we as a board could write a letter to Stewart saying, we've heard about this concern, we've heard about our attorney's recommendation, we would like to see this happen, something like that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Can you work on that
Mm-hmm.
and send it out to us
Review it
for
before.
review?
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. But at this point, it's in the planning board's hands, it's part of their process.
It's mostly the planning board at this point in time because, like I said, this board's consideration was the zone change.
And we approved that.
Zoning boards is really only at this juncture going to be with respect to the sign, the monument sign.
Yes.
So they're not really in any type of situation to do too much because any conditions they place would have to be specific to the sign variance. So the planning board's really the best situated to handle and address the
Okay.
residents' concerns.
But the planning board has already heard this.
So, to a certain degree,
Okay.
that neighbor came at the beginning of the meeting, she was told, she came at 6 o'clock, or right before 6 o'clock, she was told it was 7 o'clock. She left and didn't come back. Chuck, I think it was, from Stewart's, who's been here before for the zone change, he showed up and had said that he had just met with her.
Okay.
So it was kind of unclear as to whether that just was like within that hour, or if that was
She
some
told me
point
she-
in
she
time
told
in
me
the
she met
recent
with
past.
him.
Okay.
But he was relaying to the board essentially what his understanding of what they informally agreed on. And my
Okay.
recommendation was just that be more formalized. Yes, technically it doesn't have to be on the site plan, but if it's not, it's gonna create a gray area that may cause issues for
Down the
stewards
road,
ultimately
sure.
down the road.
Okay. Alright. Awesome.
Okay, thank you.
Is she happier, at least making an effort to advocate for her?
Yeah, she just wants backup if she can have it. I
Sure.
think, mostly. And she knows it's gonna happen, there's nothing you can do
So
about
you'll
it.
work on a letter, send it out to us and Elena for review? Thank
Yeah.
you. Awesome. Anything else, Deb?
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna be longer than Kenny.
No, well, maybe, I have a, let me get it.
You want us to come back?
So, hang on, I got it. Says. It's easier on my computer. Okay. New York State Department of Environment, this is from Matt Curley, who
Okay.
is Ursula. Environmental conservation has some requirements for electronics pickup at our individual facilities that we need to be properly registered for. Matt Swama is proposing that he would administrate this, but the New York State DEC would need our acceptance or denial of this. So, is it okay with us, or do we wanna deal with it on our own? I think we want him to do it. If you would like, to manage this process yourself, that is also an option. If you could respond to this email, if you want to, to manage this yourself or have the executive director, do it. So, my question is, do we want them to do this?
I mean, I'm trying to think of a scenario where we're like, yeah, give us more things to handle.
Exactly. But I had to say it, right?
Yeah. Do you know what it specifically, like, what it entails?
No, that's all that, well, I could maybe.
It would be good to find out, especially if we're starting to talk about layout changes to the existing transfer station. There may be more needs or requirements that we are or are not meeting. But I would love to see them do it. And I'm assuming that this would not be an extra fee. This is part of the service they provide to us. So yeah, I see this as a huge yes. Are you guys all in favor of that? I would just say double check with Kenny. If Kenny's good with it, I'm good with it.
Okay, do we have to do anything? I can just tell him yes?
Just as long as Kenny's good with it, yes. But
Okay.
I would love to find out area-wise if there's anything we need to change, because now is the time.
Okay,
Awesome. Cool.
We're still planning on going up there and meeting though, right?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, Hoosick Rising started their planning for the 200th anniversary, which is 2027, 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
We got I don't put my notes with me, we have all kinds of things that are very exciting and fun. We're coordinating with the Historical Society and Joyce Brewer, and boy, are we gonna need a lot of help from a lot of people. So get that word out there. Get exciting. We're talking about trivia contests that move from place to place. We're talking about.
That's awesome.
Isn't that cool? We're talking about concerts and storytelling and house tours. I mean, we're talking some really cool stuff. Trolleys running around. And it coordinates with the Bennington battlefield, so it's all gonna be really fun.
That's great.
But we are gonna need huge amount of help.
Got it.
And then, I think that's all I have. That might be it.
Okay.
Did I make it?
On the transfer station, is there any lighting up there?
Lighting?
That would probably help as well.
What do you think the bears, so they could see their way to the
No, they don't like,
dumpster?
most don't like natural lit areas, so they'll avoid it.
Hey, Bobby. What are the odds that street lighting people could add lights there, or we're too late in the game?
You could probably add one.
It's tricky because it's not in the village; it's outside the village.
There's a big street light up there. If you
Yeah.
need one, I have an old National Grid one. I can give you
What's that?
an old National Grid one. You can put right up, it'll light up the whole thing.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Get one of the unused poles in there.
Well,
You can take the one from my backyard.
Brett knows, it's the ones they took down to the rescue squad.
Oh.
They gave them to us. They put up LED ones, so just put it back up.
That'd be great.
Have Shane put it back up and.
Can you reach out to Realterm, see if they could? I'm guessing the answer is no, because we've kind of solidified everything. But
Yeah, I've seen all the purchase orders have already been placed.
maybe we just do it as an addendum, an additional thing.
Okay.
Pursue it separately. All right.
And Steve Harriman left.
He did.
Yeah.
Ah, man.
Yeah.
Man, oh man. All right. Brett,
I got none.
you got a marathon in 5 hours. That's what you did. Congrats. Trustee Sauer not here. Trustee Shutting not present. Trustee Walreed.
I don't really have anything to add than what we talked about. The only thing that I wanted to just verify was the Department of Health had sent us a notice that we were late on the emergency plan, and I want to make sure, I'm pretty
Yes.
sure we have an extension on it considering the infrastructure change.
So I'm really frustrated.
I'm thinking, why would they
I'm
want?
really frustrated about
And
this
I understand that.
because we got the extension from EPA and we're doing that and we got that stuff done, but this is a separate one. The state being upset at us for not doing something on a water source that is about to change.
Right.
is the most ridiculous thing.
Agreed.
But we have requirements to post it. It has to be posted within 30 days of us receiving it, which we just got like a week or two ago.
Yes.
I've been working with Josh to get a contact for the departments of health, to see if either I can use their wordage but add other things to it for context.
Right.
Because when people see an alert, they're like, "Oh my gosh, what's going on?" And it's like it's just not a huge deal. But there's like, we have to post it, 3 consecutive months and mail it out. It's like, oh come on, it's so frustrating. We're literally months away from a completely new
Right.
water source, and all the information would change, but they're going to be on us for being a
How long is it gonna take them to do that,
Big
to
slate.
get the new water source?
The construction is hoping to be done by the end of the calendar year. So we could be on the new water source officially in the end of this calendar year or very early in the next calendar year.
Ooh, wow,
Yep.
that's fast.
Yep. And I think the big work actually starts on the 13th. They've been mobilizing and getting some things ready. But yeah, their plan is to be done by the end of the calendar year. That's what their goal is. And so far they've hit every goal or exceeded every goal construction schedule wise that they've been shot for. So
Is that what all that culvert or corrugated
That's what all the
pipe
pipe
is
stuff is,
along,
yep.
along the side of 22?
Yep.
Right,
Yep.
somebody said on Facebook, we're gonna be drinking water right out of the Hoosick.
That was a great conversation. But
Yeah,
hey,
wasn't it?
I'm very glad to set the record straight, so that's easy to do. Alright. Megan, anything else?
No.
Bobby?
Just the real term, all the purchase orders have been placed for the materials for the project. The only thing we still have to do is, we found out, and Denise and Kevin from National Grid finally got back to me last night and said, we have to sign a letter of intent that we are going to move forward.
I saw that email exchange.
Then he's going to, cause the template that you were trying to fill out, they'll fill it out for us.
Okay.
With the information, so.
Once we get them the letter and the information.
Yeah, so we
Okay,
need
okay.
to get that letter of intent taken care of.
Do I need a motion from the board to authorize myself executing a letter to National Grid, or I can just do
I think
it?
we approved.
I think we
the
already did.
project,
I think we've
so
already done it.
They just
Okay.
need something formal to
Right,
Alright.
indicate
and
that.
they need a village letterhead from
That's
the,
fine, that doesn't
from the
require-
fiscal officers.
Yep. Okay,
So.
that's fine. That's it?
Yes, that's all I have.
Alright, the only old business item I have is the shared PR website resource with Hoosick Falls Central School in the town of Hoosick. Bobby, I'm gonna hand this one off to you since I'm recusing myself from this. I'm still here as a someone who can speak to what the village website technically uses and needs. I don't know if there's anything else you guys wanted to update on. I know we were kind of waiting on Dan and Doug to be present for it. Informationally wise, I spoke with Denise about how this would happen. We would require a budget modification for this and a couple other budget modification items. Just as an example, if the village decides to say I'll just do a round number $20,000 at this situation, whether it's this or a web, just a separate web person. What we would simply do is decide the distribution between general water and sewer budgets.
Divide it and split it.
And then we would come up with a budget modification specifically for that. It's gonna be a little bit of tinkering because on the sewer side, we have extra funds in there, so that surplus is, and that's when the budget modification's coming up, is there, but for water and sewer, for water in general, it would in a sense also be committing additional fund balance to cover the adjusted expense for the 24-25 fiscal year budget. So I don't know if there's anything else you want to discuss about this, or just wait for the others.
I think we probably should wait for everybody else, since this, don't you guys agree? And we have time, according to Pat, right?
Yes.
We're not pressed for time, so.
We're not pressed for time for that decision, but if we decide to go the other way, we could move faster. But we shouldn't move without discussing this first. Never mind, that's just junk coming from my mouth.
No, that's fine. The school's fiscal year starts July 1. Right? Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And ours is June 1. Just in terms of
And
how the money would happen
we
with
did
the
not
timing.
put money in the.
After all that discussion we had, we
did not.
did not put it in there because
So that would, once again, be a budget transfer.
that's the budget modification
Okay.
we need.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, Megan, oh man, that
I
phone
would,
call.
I would just make a motion to recommend that we table it until we have a full board. We
Okay.
make a decision on it,
Yep.
which may be a couple weeks from now, right? We're gonna meet again.
Yes, we're looking to set up,
So,
schedule a special meeting.
Is it okay with everybody else?
I think so.
That's, I'm making a motion, we table it.
No, I think it's a big important piece of,
Oh, for sure.
We
of
wanna get it
doing, of
right,
what we're
right,
doing,
right.
and, yeah, we wanna get it right and we want everybody's
Alright,
input.
is there a second? Alright, all in favor of, tabling this business?
Aye.
I'm gonna recuse myself, any other abstentions or recusals? Alright, hearing none, that is tabled, approved 4-0 with an with a recusal. On to new business.
Before we move on,
Sure.
since it's not about the shared service agreement,
Sure.
I was thinking of that divide by 9 website development, if we were interested in maybe doing like a Zoom meeting with him, and he could just go over like what they do, and we might get a better feel for the whole process of the website development. If we were going to choose a different route, it might be just informational for us.
That makes sense.
And if I don't know if we wanna do that at a different meeting, or if we need to be here, just so we
It could
all-
just be a couple trustees as
That's
well.
what I was thinking, okay.
Well, based on a dollar amount, is that something we have to put out for bid as well? I'm just
It's
asking.
like, I think he had said something around like $5,400,
Oh.
so I don't think so.
Oh, okay. No, I was anticipating something more than
No,
that.
no,
Okay, good, just wanna make sure.
yeah.
Alright. I would suggest, since Brett has kind of become the lucky person to be involved in the website stuff, he be included in that.
Yeah,
I can also
think-
be included on the technical side of things, just to kind of explain and clarify
Yeah, and you have
things.
experience with
Yeah.
all
Yep.
that, okay.
Alright, thanks. Alright, so as I mentioned before, we have the 24-25 fiscal year budget approved. We did it on the 29th. It was great, thank you all. We are looking to kind of make sure that we're on top of our game in a proactive way with budget modifications, which is a good thing. There's one item that Denise and Elena discussed, and we have a resolution that would authorize a budget modification. This is a transfer of $32,953 from anticipated revenues to contingency appropriation budget line G1990.4, and of course, I had to ask Denise, this G is specific code for the sewer budget, so this is specific to the sewer budget. I'm gonna put the resolution up on the screen. Elena, is there anything else you wanna say about this, or educate us about this?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but it's actually, it's necessary to have this move forward so that we can have a balanced budget.
Because in our budget, we are expecting to be in the plus this amount of money, so we shift to contingency so that it
Correct.
balances out and meets state requirements.
Correct.
Okay. Again, I've already introduced the budget modification. When it states, we gotta change that. It was actually approved on April 29th.
Oh, okay.
Can you change that in the resolution, Olivia? Already on it. Awesome. Alright, so now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Village of Hoosick Falls in regular session to the convened as follows. Only one, that this Board of Trustees does hereby authorize the village treasurer to make the following budget modifications. A transfer of $32,953 from anticipated revenues to contingency appropriation budget line G1990.4 in parentheses sewer. So we need someone to offer this resolution and second it, and then we can have further discussion on it.
Motion?
Bobby will offer it, need a second? Second, alright, any discussion or questions about this?
No, understood.
Megan, good?
I think so.
Okay. I know we have done very, very few budget modifications in my time, so this is kind of a new thing for us to
Yeah,
just make sure we're on our game with this, but we're also finally getting to the point where other things are cleared off and we can think about getting back on these things, so. Alright, hearing none, roll call vote. Olivia, please.
Trustee Shetting absent, trustee Hanselman,
Yay.
trustee Alter,
Yes,
trustee Laurie,
Yes.
trustee Sauer absent, deputy mayor Ryan,
Yes.
and mayor Robert Allen.
I am also a yes. Awesome, so that passes. Alright, we have another resolution, this is the 9th resolution of this type. This is relating to funds that the companies set up for the village, so the engineering and legal services that the village takes on as we are involved in the new water supply installation comes into play. So this is the 9th time we have a resolution authorizing the payment of invoices through a third-party funded escrow account pertaining to the development of new water supply wells and associated infrastructure for the village. It is representative of the fact that there's $2,001 of legal services for this and $5,791.15 for environmental services. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Village of Hoosick Falls in regular session duly convened as follows. 1. That the Board of Trustees does hereby authorize the payment of invoices from Sterling Environmental Engineering in the amount of $5,791.15 and Gilchrist Tingley in the amount of $2,001 to be paid from the escrow account funded by St. Cobain and Honeywell as provided for in the agreement authorized by the parties and approved by this village Board of Trustees on May 10th. That's the older one. That's the older date, not today's date. May 10th is when the first thing.
Yeah, but it also says 2023.
No, that's
correct.
not last
correct?
year.
Okay,
That's correct.
alright,
Yeah.
okay.
So we need someone to offer this resolution and second it.
Anybody?
Megan will offer it.
I'll second.
Bobby will second it. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote please.
Trustee Shedding absent, trustee Hanselman,
I will recuse myself.
Yep, thank you.
trustee Alter,
Yes.
trustee Lori, yes, trustee Sauer absent, deputy mayor Bobby Ryan,
Yes.
and mayor.
And I am a yes. And by the way, just a fun fact, if one of us hadn't voted with 2 absent and a recusal, it would require all 4 to vote as per, or to pass, so, but it does pass fine, just a funny, interesting thing. Alright, great. I'm looking for an official motion from the board to re-levy unpaid water, sewer, and refuse bills, along with unpaid services to those properties, to Rensselaer County to be placed on the village property tax bills. This is a standard thing we do, whatever we do, a re-levy. So I just wanna offer that motion. Bobby, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Megan. Further discussion?
Get us that money.
Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Alright, carries. Does the board have anything else they want to bring up?
Nope, like to go to.
Yep, I didn't have it on the agenda, but we are going to entertain a motion to enter executive session to discuss a personnel matter, not matters. With no business to be conducted at the conclusion of the executive session.
These guys need their things.
Yep, we'll do that, we'll do the signing of the student stuff. Need someone to offer the motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Megan, and I'll give Brett the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Alright, carries. We are officially ending the regular portion of the meeting and entering executive session at 7:25.
Wow.